We have an image here from the Museum of Islamic Art, and the sky unfortunately is not very even. The left hand corner is very washed out in comparison to the right hand side, and we could also do with a little bit more saturation in the sky and give it a little bit more impact. As seen as it does take up such a large area of the image, it's important that we get that right. So I'm going to use the graduated filter here, and I'm going to just drag out a selection or an area. Now you'll notice nothing really happened. That's because the values that are linked to this graduate filter are all set to 0. Let's just drag the exposure all the way down to the left. So we are reducing the exposure in the selection of the graduated filter. Now you'll notice there are two sections. In this section here is where the filter is actually applied, and as we move towards the middle and out towards the last section, you'll notice that the effect is fading out. It is feathered. It's blending with the background or the original image. This makes the graduate filter great for skies or anywhere else where you want a smooth transition between the original image and the adjustment. So let's reduce this exposure because it's far too dark. But what we want to do, we want to try and match this with the right hand side of the image. We want to make the sky uniform. So we are dealing with the exposure. If we click back on the icon here, it will just remove that selection so we can actually see what's happening. Now that looks pretty good. And let's click back on the little circle, which will bring up our filter settings. I also want to increase the saturation slightly, so I'm going to go into the positive just to make that area a little bit bluer. Let's just have another look and see what we get. That looks a lot better. Let's see a before and after. That's without the filter and now with the filter. We can also add multiple filters on one image, and we can do that by simply clicking on the filter icon again, and this time dragging a new selection. So I'm going from the top here and I'm moving down towards the bottom of the image. Now what I'm planning on doing here is once again just reducing the exposure, which essentially is making the top half of the image slightly darker, and also just tweak the saturation, which will make the sky bluer. It'll increase the saturation of the hue, and that looks pretty good.